Hello and welcome to Pantheon News. It's your host Apollo, and today we have three very amazing stories. Firstly, I just want to say thank you to everybody for your patience as I figured everything out with the stream. But if you're watching this in the future, don't worry about it. We generally have a pretty fun pre-show where we wait around about 10 minutes before getting into the stream. So if you ever want to join us, then be sure to just pop on right at 7 o'clock or whatever time that it starts, because we have a little bit of fun before. Anyway, Magnet Salt, hello! Thank you so much for staying around. I appreciate it. And thank you for the compliment. He is super cute. I love his adorableness and his serious face. If you don't know, I have unveiled my avatar, or my persona, whatever you want to call him, in this video for the first time ever. That is little Apollo there in the corner down there, who has the papers in hand. This is his business outfit, so don't be fooled by that. He's just very serious right now. And by he, I mean me. We've got three super fun stories. All of them are kind of more Webtoon, the company, focused, but I thought these were pretty interesting and I wanted to share them, although I will be coming out with another video very, very soon about something very interesting that I found out, a little lawsuit that's going on, and so we'll be talking about that either next week or the week after. So without further ado, let's jump into the first story. So this is about the Webtoon Canvas Summit, and so I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably like, what could there really be to talk about this? But I want to talk, these videos are going to gear more towards business, and more so towards why I think supporting these things, or supporting the brain behind why Webtoon might be doing this, or why, and also why it's beneficial for you to be a part of it. I'm definitely not trying to be Webtoon is amazing, support Webtoons because they are the grand poobah of the world. No, I'm gonna kind of focus a little bit in this segment about why it's really beneficial to you. And then I'm also gonna talk about the business behind why Webtoons is doing it. So just to kind of cover over the basis of what's going on, the Webtoon Canvas Summit is essentially an event that Webtoons, the company, puts on, where it's basically designed to help readers improve. You could think of it like a crash course sort of seminar type thing, where you go, you bring your notebook, you take notes, and you leave thinking that you've learned a lot, you've grown as a person, that sort of thing. So it's like a crash course sort of thing. Now, the tickets for this have already gone live. They went live on the 1st, and they, man, my brain went completely blank. They went live on the 1st, which was this week, and it was at 10 a.m. It's a completely free event, so I know some people sometimes are like, I'm not signing up for that, I don't want to spend any money, or I don't have any money, but this event is free, which is cool. It's also virtual, and it's hosted by Webtoons, the company. So there's two different ticket types. There's the general admissions, which just gives you early access to everything. You're there live as these creators go over the information and kind of talk about whatever topics they're covering. And then there is general admissions plus a 20-minute portfolio review, which 20 minutes isn't a lot of time, but if you're with an experienced editor, they can rip your stuff to shreds. I'm just being honest here. There's a lot of times where I'm reading something sometimes, and I'm just I would have gotten rid of this sentence, I would have gotten rid of this character, you introduced that way too early. A really good editor, which I'm not. I'm not a good editor. I'm talking about people who do this for a living, who do this on the daily. They can look at your series and immediately pinpoint what can make you more productive? Not productive. More, with the ability to appeal more to the masses, which I think if you're doing a portfolio review, that's probably what you're looking for. You might be looking for other things, but I just want to say, keep in mind that Webtoons is probably reviewing this in the mindset of making you an original. So, which I've never had a portfolio review. I probably need to talk to somebody who's had one. So if you've had a portfolio review before, yes, efficient. Thank you, Magnet Salt. I appreciate that so much. So if you've had a portfolio review before, please just reach out to me, give me a little slide into my DMs so that we can chat, and who knows, maybe I'll have you on a live stream so you can talk about your experience with it. And The last thing to really know that's important, so the tickets are first come first serve, and there's a limited amount, meaning that you probably want to jump on it to see if there's any left, because you know Webtoons is huge. Like who I should have checked it beforehand to see if there was anything left, but I didn't. So looking over to the picture, there are tons of special guests. Three that really stand out to me are Brandon Chen. He is the I think his handle on most things is like inspired author or something like that. But basically, he is more of a writer. Like that's what his bread and butter is. Like he has a bunch of series that he's working on, and he has really fun content in general. Check him out on YouTube. I like a lot of his stuff. So I feel like whatever he's cooking up for this thing will be pretty beneficial, especially from the writing standpoint. Then we have the creators of Hand Jumper and Ordeal. Both of them will be there. I really like Ordeal for a lot of reasons, like the very cool action scenes, like the way he draws characters. Like a lot of that is super cool. Even his journey, like I've listened to some things where he's talked about how he's progressed, how Ordeal came to be, like all of that. So that would be also really interesting to hear more about how like he's been developing the story, or should I say developing the story? More so of how he developed into this story. And then Hand Jumper, I find a lot of things interesting about this creator. Like there's so many things that I personally, like if they needed a host, I would have so many questions. I'd be like, first of all, let's talk about marketing, because I feel like their comic is so marketable from like just a reading standpoint to a cosplay standpoint to a live action standpoint. Like there's so many things where I'm just like, this series could hit all the factors all at once and like bombard the masses. Like I got my eye on this person. I also would like to know how they like balance their work life plus their like school life, because from what I understand they're still in school. So I'm like, how are you doing this? Like how are you able to like make a comic weekly and still do school stuff? I'm gonna be honest, the other creators I really didn't look up because I didn't recognize them instantly, but they all looked pretty cool. And generally from the past 2 years, Webtoons has done a really good job of getting like creators that are like very involved and very like good at speaking and good at explaining their process. So I'm pretty sure all of the events will be well paneled. So let's talk about the benefits for us as a whole. So let me preface this by saying like this is all just smart business for Webtoons, because like Webtoons hosting this event, it's not necessarily, in my opinion, like out of the goodness of their heart. I think that they're hosting the event possibly for a number of reasons, and the biggest reason to me probably would be that they're kind of growing their own like future Webtoon original creators. So they're like grooming people, which sounds bad, but I don't mean it in like a bad sense. It's just like you have a fan base that's interested in becoming a part of your company, like grow that. There's so many companies that talk about like working there, the Disney magic, like being a part of Disney. So many people have that dream of being a part of that company, and I think a lot of Webtoons has that sort of platform where a lot of like, especially younger creators, even older people, have a dream of being a Webtoon original, even if they don't necessarily like everything that Webtoons does. They do like the idea of like being able to live off of their art full time. So events like this are for creators, but it's also for Webtoons, and Webtoons can also like look through portfolios of potential creators and be like, oh, you haven't been on our radar, but you're on our radar now. So I'm like, you know, it is what it is. For us as creators, the reason why I think it's really important, a large, like the biggest reason is networking. And I know it's kind of hard to say like you're trying to network at these events, like because you're paying attention, trying to learn and grow from the creators, but don't miss an opportunity to like write down someone's username that either like asks good questions or that is very outspoken or that you vibe with. That could be someone potentially that becomes a friend that helps you in the long run, or it could be potentially somebody that's just there to support you, or you're there to support them. Like, Networking is probably one of the best ways to get ahead in life. Like, it sounds wrong, I guess, because a lot of people think, like, just work hard. But sometimes, like, those personal relationships really do benefit you in the long run, and you can grow and learn a lot from them. Next, I would say learning is probably the next biggest thing. Like, these are successful creators that are giving you advice, even if like you don't necessarily agree, or you don't necessarily 100% put your full weight into what they're saying. What they're saying is based off of their experience, and so they are successful, and so hearing it can help you to narrow in on how to grow yourself. Like, how can you improve? How can I make my story more successful? Well, I didn't like what this aspect of what they said, but I did like this aspect, and so you can take that and run with it. Then I would say supporting events like this kind of like helps Webtoons in a sense for us, in the fact that it kind of, I don't want to say it forces them, but they can see the benefits of doing more events like this in the future. So even if they're not necessarily doing creator summits, it could force them to do like more contests. It could force them to do more outside the box events. Like, maybe they have like they start doing Canvas interviews on their YouTube channel, or they start doing polls for Canvas. Like, it incentivizes them to build on the audience that they already have when there's support for it. Because if I was running the business, and I would say put your business hat on, if you have this side of your business that's smaller than what brings in most of your money, you're not going to invest as much in it, because you, from a business standpoint, you don't see, the profit gain. Like, you could see potentially the profit gain, but you, like, a lot of business people need something to help them propel this forward. So that's why I'm like, if the numbers are being like blown out of the water every time like there's a Canvas event, especially one that's worth it, like, I'm not knocking anything that they do, but like sometimes the little Instagram events or something like that isn't for everybody. But bigger events like this kind of incentivizes Webtoons to do more, in my opinion, for the community, because it more or less makes them see value more in Canvas. That's just my thoughts. You could have completely different thoughts, which is 100% okay. I'm just basing a lot of this off of my own business knowledge and off of my own personal opinion, because at the end of the day, a business is trying to make money. And events in time like this, they cost money. So that's it for the first thing. Does anybody have any questions, or does anybody have anything that they would like to share about their experience at the Webtoon Canvas Summit? I personally, I don't think I made it to the first one, but I did make it to the second one, and it was just a lot. Like, it's a full day event, so it was a little too much for me. Like, I had to take a break. I had other things that I needed to work on, and so I did watch the very beginning, like I think the first 2 or 3 hours, and then by the time lunch came around, I had to go and do stuff, and I came back for, like, I think there was a specific speaker that I wanted to hear. So it was a fun time. Like, I learned a lot, and I thought it was really cool, and I liked getting the insight that Webtoons has, and why. And like, I feel like a little bit of this, you get like some nuggets about how like Webtoons operates. Like, you can understand from a deeper perspective, like, oh, okay, like that's kind of what y'all focus on. This is what y'all focus on. Like, how they always talk about the first 3 episodes, like that's something Webtoons really focuses on. To me, some series, like the first episode, if it's not good, I probably won't read along. And what I mean by not good is if it doesn't catch me. So it's like, okay, like, I get it. You tried. Like, I'm trying not to be really mean about it, but like, sometimes you just don't vibe with a series. Alright, let's move on to the next story. I don't think there was any questions. So this one, It's more or less a little bit of a more business type of thing. It's about the 9 years that Webtoons has been around. Like they were like, we just had a birthday, and I'm like, okay, cool. Although I did not realize they've been around for almost a decade. Like that means that they were like what 2013. Like my brain was not working. That's a long time. So it's their birthday, and just a few highlights of it. If you really think about it, the Webtoon like community as a whole, like Canvas and just like readers and originals and all of that, it's grown a lot. Like there's so much going on in the Webtoon world. Like you have cosplayers now, like you see tons of fan art, you see like Webtoons is everywhere. Like where I live, I don't think I ever would have expected Webtoons to have like any sort of presence at a convention and stuff. I think I saw Merryweather at a con recently, which was really cool. I didn't get a chance to speak to them, but I still thought that was super awesome. Like, okay, like even this little podunk town where I live is like, you know, being affected by Webtoons. So that was cool. As I continue to grow, it means more career opportunities, obviously. So like if you're looking to become a full-time artist, it's another path that you can follow that is really beneficial and could help you, you know, for years and years and years to come. Like your character could be cemented in society. Who knows? And then the fact that even if you're not trying to jumpstart a career and you just want to publish your story, you can build a fan base. Like, I think with the way social media is now and everything, like a lot of us kind of take for granted the fact that Webtoons, like having a fan base of a few hundred people, like 100 people, 200 people, you know, anything less than 1,000, that's still a big deal. Like 100 people that support your series or are fans of your series is actually really cool. And the reason I think that this is kind of even like the fact that they've grown to be so much is if you think about the days before Webtoons, like it was the Wild Wild West out here. Like it was so hard to build a fan base. Like you had, you know, a few different platforms that you could try and build on, but there were so many people on there. Like a lot of times you had to create your own page, especially if you were a comic artist. Like I'm like a website, I said page. Your own website for your comic. Like it was a lot that was going on. And now Webtoons came and they're like, we're hosting and we've got a fan base, join it. So the fact that that is something to celebrate at the end of the day. The fact that there is a platform that you can post and potentially gain a huge following. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Will it ever be perfect? Nothing's perfect in this world. So there's always things that Webtoons can improve on, and hopefully as time continues to go, they'll keep improving. I really don't want any sort of comic hosting site to ever become stagnant, but I think history has shown that a lot of them become stagnant and then die. Yes, the days of Smack Jeeves, like 100%. It's really crazy to me that people kind of, like, they crap on Webtoons a lot, and I'm not saying it's not deserved, but going back in time, people who probably were on Smack Jeeves and RSS probably would, like, say, I'm sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud, but probably would be like, oh my good grief, I wish we had Webtoons when I was like posting regularly about this. So, tell me, what do you guys think about Webtoons as a whole? Like, do you like the company? Do you see, like, okay, let's not go like the company. Can you see the potential of the company? Whether you're here now or in the future, let me know in the comments below. I think it'd be really interesting to hear more from the community about the potential growth or the potential things that they would like to see from Webtoons. Like for me, I really wish Webtoons would do more in terms of like making their creators, whether it be Canvas or originals, more accessible to the public. Like, I don't think there's like necessarily, like, I would really like to hear an originals experience, like, especially one that started on Canvas. Like, I would love to hear Rachel, the Lore Olympus creators, her experience on like going from Canvas to original, like what it was like and where she's at now. And I think there's a lot of other creators I'd be interested to hear from too, like Urachan, how she entered that contest, like, you know, what was her thoughts behind that? Was she trying to win? Was this just for fun? Like what was her mentality beforehand? Like where they were at? I feel like a lot of that's really important because there's so many people that probably are either in similar situations or are in that exact situation almost where they might be on the verge of giving up, because I feel like it is a very, very small percentage of people that actually become originals or get to a point with their comic where they can live off of it. And so I think having a more transparent platform, like even if they don't want to go into like contractual things with which I'm like, Webtoons, y'all probably, you know, y'all have control over it, just figure it out. Like that's extra revenue for them too. So, and it's easy to do in the sense of like it's not going to take up a lot of time, but it will take up like I feel like making a trailer is much more work than probably doing an interview, and I feel like the benefits of doing the interview would probably be much more beneficial overall than just having a trailer that people watch every so often. That's just my opinions. I have lots of opinions. That's why we do these videos. But if we're talking about like just strictly business, I really feel like there's so much potential, like potential in the community in of itself. Like you think about the fans, like having built-in fan base for Canvas and originals, like just bolsters everybody, makes everybody more successful. Then having creators helping creators, like that's another very marketable thing. Like having almost like a mentorship type thing could actually be really cool. Like there's tons of people that probably would love to apprentice for an original creator. Like, can I please work on your comic, sir? Like, I mean, there's just so much. And then there are a lot of series on Webtoons that are very marketable, and marketable in the sense of like I could see Hollywood or other big studios being very interested in buying or licensing the IP, because studios are constantly looking for content. Like Netflix is constantly looking for content, Disney looking for content. Like these are revenues that I could potentially see Webtoons being like in a very good position to help everyone all around, because the fans would love to see it. Like how many fans love seeing like their favorite comic hero brought to life? How many creators love seeing their series brought to life, like either in animation or live action? Like it's just a cool feat in general. Like I would love for something that I wrote or made to live on in another medium. Like that's just cool in general. Like I have no other words besides that's amazing. That's super cool. But anyway, let's move on to our third story of the day. The Webtoonies. So, okay, let me start by let's just pull up the Instagram post real quick. We can look at this. I think this is it. Yeah. And the reason why I think this is really interesting is because it more or less shows like what's popular right now. And the reason, like this is really just for creators more or less, like letting y'all know who the actual winners aren't that important to me, to be honest. Like I'm very happy for all of the creators who won, because I mean you deserve it. Like that's why your series is popular. But what I find to be the most interesting... Oh wait, what did I do? Did I do this wrong? Oh, there it is. I'm like, where's the next... What I find the most interesting is like looking at this based off of votes, you can kind of figure out what the most popular characters are and what the best series are to like almost emulate your series after. Like if you're writing a thrilling comic, you can look at what's popular right now and then see, oh man, this series is really popular. Let me see why it's popular. What are they doing? And what can I take away from this series to make my series better? And like they have some interesting things like Scene Stiller. That in of itself is an interesting category because when you think about the fact that there are certain moments where characters that aren't necessarily the main characters, where it's not the main character's moment, it's this other character's moment to shine. How can I write that effectively? And then we look at things like, I keep hitting the wrong button, I'm sorry. Like, it's invisible. Like, you know, things like best schemer. Okay, that's actually a really, like, these are interesting categories that aren't necessarily cookie cutter. Webtoon wow moment. Best at being the worst. Which, a lot of these characters I could probably predicted that they would win based off of, you know, what I'm reading at the moment, which I'm not reading every series, so that wouldn't be fair. But I'm just saying, seeing all of this really puts into perspective who's at the top. So I would say, you know, go ahead and try to, oh, good grief. I did the wrong thing. Hold on. Let me go back. Sorry about that. So I would say, you know, take a chance to look at that. Look at the categories. Look at who the winners are. And if your series is a romance series, if your series is a thriller, supernatural, superhero, whatever it might be, kind of take notes. Like always keep up with what's popular in your genre so you can know how to emulate it or how to take away what they're doing right from a technical level to apply it to yourself. And like this event was just fun for the community. Sorry about that. So again, you know, how it benefits you, I've been kind of talking about that the whole time. That was the whole purpose I picked it. I just want to say that, you know, it's awesome to all of the winners. It's awesome to all of the people who were nominated. Like having a character or having a series that's popular enough to end up on any sort of list is always an achievement. So for you guys, you know, do y'all have any series that are... did y'all participate in this event? Were y'all a part of it? Did y'all participate in any of the events that Webtoons has had going on? I personally did not. I haven't really participated in a lot of events, so I'm kind of like being double fisted on this. But I will say in my defense, I've just been super busy lately. So I wish I had gotten a chance to vote. A lot of times I'm like catching up on the news at the end of the month to kind of see where everything is, what's going on in the Webtoon world, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. I do, you know, pay attention to big stuff. Like I was aware of the Canvas Summit when it was announced and all of that stuff. But like, I'm just doing my best right now. So, you know, I'm going to do what I can to support all of the creators and support anybody who I have any interest in. But I would say, you know, if you're in a position, go ahead and support because Webtoons looks at that. I'm positive they do. And if they don't, I don't know why they're having the events. So, that is our 3 stories of the day. We covered the Webtoon Canvas Summit, Webtoon's birthday, and the Webtoonies of 2023. Hopefully, they'll continue to push forward fun events for everybody. And if you have any thoughts or if you have any questions, either about today's 3 stories or that are completely unrelated, feel free to ask them right now, and I'll do my best to answer them. but it doesn't guarantee that I'll answer them if they're too personal. So, looking at what's been going on lately though, I feel like a lot of news for the last month slowed down. So I don't know if they're ramping up for some fun stories coming up, if there's just some things hidden behind the scenes, or maybe they're just busy with helping creators launch new series, which would be super cool. I'm all for that. Like, please launch more series, but not too many. Not too many that I can't keep up with. Honestly, if they release like a series once every other week, I think that would be enough for me. But I know like there's a lot of people that are on Webtoons and want content and stuff, and also, you know, job security for creators. Oh, hello! Thank you so much for making it to the stream. So good to see you. Artagong, how are you doing? We are just wrapping everything up. We kind of covered all of the stories for today. We had a little bit of a nice chat, so it was super fun. Yeah, they release a lot of series, and I hate to be like, stop releasing so many series, because I know like if someone became an original creator, obviously they want their series to be released, but sometimes it's just like, you can't drop 10 series at once and expect me to be able to read multiple. But, you know, I'm just one person, and what appeals to me may not appeal to other people. So hopefully whatever I'm not picking up, other people are picking up. So, but yeah, today's stream, we'll be doing another news stream at the end of next month. We're going to try our best to have a discussion like we did today, talking about 3 different topics that are pretty interesting that went on within the past month. So you're always welcome to come back next month to join. I'm going to keep doing the news videos as live streams. I really feel like I can interact with you guys can ask more questions, and they're a little better to me than just doing like a 7-minute, 10-minute video where it's like crammed all into one, so I can really explain why I found these topics interesting or why they're a benefit to you. And so I hope that you guys are enjoying this new format. You know, if not, you know, let me know. I guess I could do like a sum of, or go back to doing a sum of it. We'll see. It depends. At this point, it's kind of like, I'll probably do whatever one makes me the most happy. And right now, doing live streams with you guys is what is really driving me to do these. So to wrap up, going forward, whenever you guys are on for the streams and whatnot, I will be paying attention to the people who interact with the streams, whether it be live or if you go back and leave a comment. But I will, you know, jot down names and whatnot of people leaving comments, and then at the end of the live stream, I will give you a shout out. And so last week, the creator of the Witch's Stone, aka Hobbyish, she was super interactive, and so she got like a gold star from us. I really appreciate her joining the stream, and so please check out her series, The Witch's Stone. There is the description right there. Oh, Magnet Salt, you totally count. So if you're on the stream, or if you're watching this in the future and you would like a shout out, just leave me a comment down below and a link to your comic or to your Instagram or wherever, and I will shout it out in the next stream. So thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, leave us a like, a comment, and most definitely ring the bell. A huge shout out and thank you to our patrons. We really appreciate you guys. Be sure to follow us on all our social media accounts, link in the description. And if you want to talk to me, you can always DM me on Instagram. All right, I will catch you guys in the next video.